the producer.
Good morning, YouTubers. Here we go. We're getting some more stuff done on Maddie's car. I ended up just ripping the exhaust off of the car, and now we're just gonna start. Today we're gonna get a lot done. We're gonna remove all these shields right here, just simple 10 millimeters. We're gonna rip those off. We don't need them anymore. They're just gonna get in the way when you're doing the exhaust or anything like that. They're pretty rusted up anyway, so it's probably good to get rid of some of that weight also. And then from there, we're gonna work on the motor mount post. I'm gonna show you guys how to remove these spot welds, and we'll get the vlog going, man. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. We are at actually 6,000 subscribers, so we're climbing. We're getting there. We're educating everyone, and I hope you guys are enjoying my Milwaukee hand ratchet, 10 millimeter on it. Oh, it already was on it. Get my battery here. I was charging it, and that's it. Just rip off these shields. Now when you go on to these rusted 10s, don't just snap right away. Go on there, wiggle it around a little bit, and make sure that the actual socket is onto the actual bolt, you know what I mean, or nut, whatever you want to call it. So we get onto the 10 millimeter and we just shake some of that rust off. And normally with the, depending on how rusted they are, man, this lighting sucks here. Yeah, you get what I'm about to say. So yeah, put it on. And that's it. So you just take off all the shields, all these rusted shields that are going to make rattling sounds when you put on the exhaust. If you're worrying about heat going up into the car, guys, you're not fucking driving a Cadillac, man. You got to take these sacrifices of stuff like this, you know what I mean? So yeah, I went ahead and got rid of these shields. They're all a little rusted up and whatnot. And we got to, just clean it up here a little bit. Now it'll be much easier to get to the emergency brake cables, which are right there. Again, sorry for the lighting, but we have to change the emergency brake cables anyway. So now it's just much easier. So right there, we'll unbolt the emergency cables, swap those out, and keep it moving. We're getting there, boys. We're getting there. All right. So now I'm just gonna work nice and easy here. So we've got some spot welds to remove on the passenger side mount, where the Hasport bracket eventually, takes its place for the K-Series swap. So I got a rag here. I want to be careful, and I just want to make sure that I'm hitting every spot weld. These are the spot welds that are actually holding the motor mount, well, the bracket, onto the chassis. So we just clean it. Bear with me. See? Now we know that that guy has to come out. So I'm going to sit in here with my drill, and I'm going to work nice and easy. Alright guys, so I basically, I have everything that I need. I ran out of bits for my rivet removal, spot removal kit. So I'm just going to use some drill bits. So I got my punch here to make my life easier. I'm just going to go to the spot weld. There's a few of them. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 here. Grab the light. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 spot welds. This is going to be a little bit of a nightmare, but we'll get it done. This punch sucks. Keeps getting messed up. I tried moving the spring around, but I'm just making a guideline for my drill bit so it doesn't walk on me. Now when you're drilling, you don't ever want to start off too fast, so you always put it on setting 1 here. You just go slow. So now we know that the diameter of this isn't bigger than that. So we'll start with a small one just to get our guideline. So we go here, and remember we start at 1. And we turn it up to 2 once we made our hole. Pause. And now what I do from there is I just go with a bigger drill bit so I can get that exact diameter to where the spot weld is off. So I'll just measure it here. That looks like about it. 1 shot. I forgot my cutting oil, but let's see how far I get without it. Now we already have our hole. We can start at 2. Once you make your hole, you can just start at basically the kill. And you don't press down on it. You just let the drill bit work. It has a job. Don't press down on it. I'm just holding it now. And I'll know. You just take a peek. Okay. All right. Yeah, this one's almost done. That's it. That one's out. I can see the spot weld on the other guy. Let me try to get you guys a better view here. Let me turn this screen around. All right. So that's it. I can see the other side of the spot weld from the actual chassis. And then you just do that entire process to all the spot welds that you see. I'm going to start kicking ass. Enjoy.
For play, Poppy.
You
Like that,
you bust my ass yesterday, man. I don't want no problems with you. Nah, I'm not playing today. All right, guys. So here we go, man. I got like 2 more spot welds to go. But you guys understand the concept. I grabbed my cutting oil. Hey, I'm doing a video here, pal. I'm doing a video here, pal. I'm doing a video here. So I grabbed my cutting oil. And I've got 2 more to go. And I should just be able to use the mallet and bang this bracket right off. Enjoy. That's it. It's ready to come out. I had to beat it a little bit because there were some spot welds that were giving me a pesky problem. And that's it. Get you some better lighting here. We can clean that up a little bit. Get that edge there, but anything basically with a spot weld that you see, you can remove it in that same way, nice and neat. People would usually hack and just cut it off and then leave this top ear on, but that's the correct way to do it. Alright guys, so I put the wheels back on, just bolted up the suspension just to hold. Gonna move the AK-47 and then take this guy outside and start cleaning this engine bay with soap and water only. Alright, Maddie's car's outside. AK in the cut. So yeah, we're gonna hose it off first because we don't want to be scrubbing dirt into the paint. So we'll hose it off. We'll get all this stuff cleaned up, and then from there we'll put the soap and water, and then no brushes, just a simple sponge because we're trying to save this paint from losing anything. So yeah, now we just put soap in the water. We just put soap and water in a bottle, and all we're doing is just soaking it with the soap. Because like I said, we're not trying to strip any of the paint. So as you can see, 40, as he's cleaning, he's just scrubbing it off. It may not look all the way clean at the end, but that's fine because what we're doing with this build is completely different. No brushes, no hard pads or anything, because this paint is so fragile that it'll end up fading. It'll start to get that sunburn, if that's even a word. Alright guys, we got the car back on the lift. We cleaned it up as much as we could without, hurting the integrity of the paint. But this is just soap and water. And now what's next is we're going to drop that subframe. Alright, so we're about to drop the subframe. So the spindle can hang. We have to release the fork on the 17. You might have to just bang that out on this side. See if you could take it out. Beautiful, right there. And then same thing here. So we'll leave the forks, we'll leave the spindle, and then we'll start dropping the subframe. So grab yourself the gun with the 17. You can start right here. I think that's a 19 or a 17. See what it is. It's a 19. Okay. So 19. Now what you don't want to do is completely take it out, because you don't want it to fall on you. So you just thread it in by hand. So same thing on the other side. My bad. Okay, right there, that's fine. And now you got some 17s here. You can actually leave the control arm onto this onto the bushing right here. So release here. That's a 19. Yeah, I think the rest are 19s now. Yep. The rest of the subframe is 19s. Release that. That one can go all the way out. All the way out. You're not losing not one screw. Okay, next one on the other side. Perfect. Now release these two. Perfect. It's okay. Yep, release it. We still have those two holding it. Okay. Okay, it's ready to come out. All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna drop these two 19s. It's gonna be able to just come right down. Bring it right to the floor. Here we go. Watch your hand. That's it. Bring it right down.
Take care of that.
Right down. Perfect. Right?
You good?
What happened?
Go ahead.
What happened?
Top heavy, top heavy.
All right. Yeah. Drop it down.
What?
No, we're gonna need some bolts for it. So we'll just line up the new one right behind it, and then we'll start swapping over bolts, and that's it. All right, so we got the new rack and pinion and subframe all set. We're about to put it up and just get it held up by a few bolts, and that's it. Then we'll move on. All right, guys. So the battery died as we were putting it up, but it's all bolted up. It's ready. So now we just move on, and we're gonna move on to the motor mounts. Maddie will jump inside, attach the yoke, and we are grooving on this build. All right, so we're just prepping the fuel lines. This is the return line. We're not going to cut this. This is the feed right here, and then this is for basically the evap system. So I'm just going to snip this right here for now. I have my pipe cutter. I'm going to make all the lines nice and clean. But for now, so I don't have to go through all this, I'm just going to snip it right here. That's it. So we're just eliminating some lines that we're never going to use. Now the feed, we obviously know it has to be straight with the return. So I'm just going to cut it, call it right here. That's it. Or did it slip? Alright, that's our feed. We no longer need that. So we'll just pipe cut it and make the lines nice and clean. But it's a little bit difficult to do it. That's why I untook this bracket off, because we're going to have to separate the lines so we can swing this guy in and out. Alright, so just doing the fuel feed with the pipe cutter to make everything nice. So as you gradually cut into the pipe, you just twist it around about a 360, tighten just a little bit more. Don't try to get it done in one shot. Just do it little by little, and then it'll just pop right off. So we're just cutting into the pipe, so when we add our fuel system, it'll be much easier. The reason we're doing this now is because look where I'm standing. I'm working much easier because there's no motor in here. So when it comes to the fuel system, it's literally just going to be sending lines down and tightening them up. So this one should be almost out. I could feel it. And that's it. Now we have a fuel feed that's ready to go. I'll take this line completely out because we're not using it. So we have our fuel feed and we have our fuel return. So now we're just doing the fuel return. If you're ever wondering like, damn, how do I know which one is return, which one is feed? One is bigger than the other. The feed will always be bigger than the return. So now I'm just making this just a little bit taller than the feed. And I'm doing the same thing I did with the fuel feed. I'm doing with the return, just cutting the pipe nice and clean and taking my time. When it spins around too easy, that means it needs more blade. And that's it. She's out. I don't know why it's still holding on. Should have came right off. Boom. So we got our return and we got our feed. Fuel system's going to be super simple. Slip the hose on, tighten up the clamp, slip the hose on, tighten up the clamp, fuel system is done. So now we're doing the passenger side motor mount. Now when you're doing it on the K-Series, just remember, your alignment is the bottom where the torque mount 14s would go. So what we're going to have to end up doing is we're going to mark it down there, mark it up here, and then drill the 2 holes to send the long bolt through so we can tighten up both ends. So I'm just going to look under here. I can see my mark. I've got a rubber mallet. This should be a very easy process. Boom, boom. Boom. Now what some people like to do to reference, to get a reference point is they would take a 10mm and they would put it in here. It's a threaded hole that Hasport had. It's a slot that Hasport had made, and you can add the 10mm into here and make sure you're nice and flat. So now we'll put a 10 bolt into there. We'll mark it here, and then we'll drill our holes to send the long bolt through. Now I'm just using a nice clean 10mm, and I'm going to use this as my reference. I'm going to tighten this as much as I can. So now I know that these are my marks now. I'm going to get my drill bit and I'm going to make the holes into there. Right there and right there. Tighten it all the way. So I made my initial hole now. So I'll just step it up with the bit. Okay, here we go. Alright, so I put my long bolts in, 17mm, they're grade 8. Put a washer on each side, and they just meet the bottom where the torque mount would be bolted to. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to just trust that threading. So I've got some nylons, and I'm just going to put the washer here, and then I'm just going to meet that same bolt that I sent down with this nylon lock, and then we'll tighten up both ends as we go. So just put that up by hand until it hits the nylon. Boom. Okay, now we just move on to this one. And same thing. I'm just going to meet it at the bottom with this entire setup, washer and everything. We'll blow all this. We'll blow all this out with some air. Get all this scrap metal out of the way, and that's it. But this motor mount kit is bolted up. Alright guys, so on this side of the motor mount, remember how I told you I just met it with the nylon nut? My words are all over the place today. There it is. That's it. It's a 17 millimeter. I tightened it up on both ends. And that's it. I kept my reference 10 millimeter in there. It's not bothering me. That's there. This motor mount, we just bolted it up to the subframe before it was on the car. And this guy just goes right where the driver's side single cam motor mount will go. And that's it. The motor mount kit is literally bolted up. It's that easy. 2 holes drilled. Send the bolts down. Meet them at the end with the nut, and that's it. Hasport EGK2s. I think this is what they call. So this is the brackets for the air condition condenser, whatever the hell it's called. We're going to take this off because our K-Series radiator is going to be on this side. So same procedure. Anything you see with a spot weld, you just drill it out. So here's one. There's 3 of them holding this. I feel it. There it is. That's it. Same thing on this side. And you're all set. Alright, so now we're up to the fuel system part. I'd rather have done this now while the engine bay is empty. So I bolted up this K-tuned regulator to this spot right here on the strut tower. Just put a 10 mil. I put some thread lock in it. I put it as straight as I can. Put the gauge on, the Tri-State Motorsport fuel pressure gauge. And now we're just using the hybrid brake line, fuel line kit. And that's it. You know, it comes with this guy right here. Put that on there. Make it easier to where you can tighten it up, and you just push it on. Go down as far as you can. So yeah, we got the fuel feed now. Did the same thing with the fitting. Clean down that strip and just put it on. Tighten this sucker up all the way, and that's it. We got our return. We got our feed. It's nice and neat. I'm just going to tighten up this fitting right here. You know what? Yep, just tighten up this fitting and I'm set. Now we don't have to deal with the hassle of dealing with the fuel system while the motor is in the car. So we'll just tighten down on this fitting and the fuel system is done. We're going to put a fuel pump in here and call it a day. Okay guys, I think it's time to put this motor in. We're almost set here. We've got our motor mount set up. We've got our fuel system all intact right there. And I don't see why we can't just slap this motor in real quick. We're utilizing the vane stand that was gifted to us. Not the actual one that was gifted to us, but it'll be a nightmare right now to go ahead and use the new stand because it's only me and Maddie here, and it'll be hard for us to lift up this motor and then slip it into the slots. But I think we're going to just slap this motor in right now. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead, and stop. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. All right, slow down. All right, now we have to move the motor right here. We clear there. Sorry about the lighting, but you can see where we're going here. We're just trying to line up these 2 motor mounts. So go ahead, Matt, go down. Stop. Go down. Go down. Beautiful. All right. Now we can push the motor. We can push the motor back a little bit. Go down a bit more. This stand is great. Go ahead. Okay. Let's push the motor. Go ahead. Go down a bit. Go ahead. Keep going. You're good. You're gonna hit now. Okay, good. Okay. Alright, we're done. Some way, somehow, we ended up with EK motor mounts. So I noticed that something was weird, and then when I told Maddie to jack up the transmission, you can go ahead and let it down. Something about the transmission mount was wrong, so yeah, we just got the wrong motor mounts. We're going to have to get the right motor mounts. I didn't even notice it because they all look the same. EG and EK look the same. So this one's going to end up changing, and we'll be good on that. I think the back ones are all the same also. So we're done for today, Matt. We're so close, man.
We're getting there.
We're so close. We're getting there. Keep gunning, man. I hope you're enjoying the build. This is part of racing, part of fucking racing, Matt. Keep gunning, everybody.